Using angles to determine a turn. Today we're going to talk about turns of a circle, the degree of the angles, and the fraction of a turn that we've made. So, all angles are based on a circle. When you look at the circle, the arch of a circle goes all the way around. You start at 0 when you're at the point. So you're at 0 degrees when you start at a circle. As you move around the circle, every circle has a degree, and it ends up being 360 degrees around the full circle. So a lot of times what we do to determine the degrees or the turns is we break the circle in half. When I partition this circle in half, I can then break 360 degrees down in half. And when I do that, I know that if I traveled halfway around the circle, I would be at 180 degrees because that is half of 360 degrees. If I partition the circle into 4 parts, then I can then break 360 degrees down into a fourth, or divide it into 4 equal parts. I could also take 180, half of that, and divide that into half, and that would give me 90 degrees. So I can see that 1/4 of a turn is 90 degrees. So from 0 to about here in the middle of the right of the circle, we're at 1/4 of a turn. But if I wanted to go another 1/4, then I would have 2/4 of a turn, or as you know it, 1/2. Those are equal to each other, and that would give me 180. So I could figure it out by going 90 degrees plus 90 degrees equals 180. If I then went another fourth, then I could add another 90 to my 90 plus 90 equals 180, which would give me 270 degrees. And so using these benchmarks helps you to get a feel for it. And I'm sorry, that would be a 3/4 of a turn. It helps you with benchmarks. For instance, if I said a 45-degree turn, you would be able to look between 0 and 90. You know that 45 is half of 90. So a 45-degree turn would be about right here, 45 degrees. It just helps you to kind of estimate where you are. It also helps to orient you. Now, I didn't fill in the last fourth of the circle, but hopefully you realize that if I go another 90 degrees, that would be 4/4 of a turn, or 1 full turn. So 1 full turn is also equal to 360 degrees. So all of those things mean the same thing. So if I had a scenario and I was saying, Mrs. Thomas was facing the lake. Well, you can see the lake is here at 0, and she made a 90-degree turn to the right. Well, you can see my directions here. Here's the right. I want to turn this way. If I make a 90-degree, what will she be facing? Well, I'd be facing the forest. Starting again, Mrs. Thomas was facing the lake, and she made a 270-degree turn to the right. Well, that would take me all the way around past 180 to 270. What is she facing? Well, she would be facing the mountains, and so on. So if someone made a 180-degree turn, they would be facing the opposite of what they were first looking at. So if I was looking at the lake and I made a 180-degree turn and I'm looking at the desert, the lake would be to my back. And so I'm just thinking about it like that. That is using what you know about angles to help you orient yourself or figure out which direction a person is in.